The past 3 seasons, Superbike pilot Josh Hayes has ruled the AMA Pro Superbike Championship.
Josh Hayes, absolutely dominant. Win number 16 on the season. He will move into number 2 on the career wins list in AMA racing.
The last couple of years in these Superbike championships has felt like a blur. The race wins have racked up so fast. It just doesn't compute, quite honestly.
Today, a new season begins in Daytona, and everyone is chasing the number 1. This is the 2013 AMA Pro Superbike Championship season opener from Daytona on Speed. It is time to begin another season of GEICO Motorcycle AMA Pro Road Racing, and we are thrilled to have you with us right back here on Speed for Daytona 200 week. And of course, this is the world center of racing, and certainly this weekend it is the epicenter of all things motorcycling. Hi everybody, I'm Greg Creamer, thrilled to be working with 5-time Daytona 200 winner Scott Russell. And Scott, it may be a new season for the AMA Pro National Guard Superbike, but it's an old story. Who's going to catch Josh Hayes?
Well, that's the big question right now. That number 1's on his bike for a reason. His teammate Josh Herrin has really done good in qualifying. He's fairly close, and I see a different rider in him this year. So we're going to see if he can do something about it.
And there is a look at Josh Hayes, starting only his 5th season of Superbike competition, and yet he has been absolutely phenomenal in what he has achieved. Certainly 3 straight championships. And if he can win a 4th, that's something not even Matt Mladen has been able to do. But look at what he's been able to do. 2 consecutive championships, 33 wins in his relatively brief starts, and he's taken a lot of records last year. The guy is pretty remarkable, to be sure. But there is competition, and there are some guys coming up with new rides, guys that are being rookies this year in the championship. It's going to be interesting to see. Let's take a look here as you watch Chris Ulrich, Aaron Yates, Danny Eslick. There's Taylor Knapp getting his first shot with a major pro factory program with KTM. Dustin Dominguez, that's a big leap up for him. Larry Pegram and Robertino Pietri, these guys could be players.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some competition this year that I think he's going to have to deal with. A couple of those Suzuki riders you mentioned right there are definitely going to give him a run for his money at certain tracks. Whether it's going to happen here today, we're yet to find out. He's pretty much had a stranglehold on practice and qualifying all week long, and it's going to be a tall order for anybody to really run with him.
Well, one of the guys that's going to be going after him is this guy, 36, Martin Cardenas. It's his 2nd shot at Superbikes. He got a win as a rookie a couple of years ago, and of course comes off another Daytona Sport Bike Championship, but he's with a prime ride.
Correct. He is on something that we know can win. That Yoshimura Suzuki team's been around for a long, long time. This guy right here, Danny Eslick, he jumps up to the Jordan Superbike team. He's primed, he's ready. He came off the EBR. This kid is loaded with all kind of natural talent. If anybody seriously could challenge him week in, week out, I believe it's this guy.
Boy, and he is fun to watch, isn't he, with that bike control? And this is a great story, too, the return to the Superbike Championship of a guy who was just absolutely connected with this series, Aaron Yates.
Oh, it's great to see Aaron back after that terrible crash he had in Fontana years ago. He's just a die-hard racer. All he wants to do is race motorcycle. Got an opportunity with the EBR team. I wish him a lot of luck.
And there is a look at the pit lane, certainly, for Daytona International Speedway. You see the dirt in the foreground. Of course, they had Supercross here, so they haven't been able to get that all re-groomed and painted up. But this is a fairly intricate piece of track here. The infield section here, a little different.
Well, this first International Horseshoe, they've changed it over the years. The thousands are so quick, they wanted to make it a little shorter run and give it more runoff, but it's tightened the radius of that corner, so it's changed really the whole attitude of that corner. After that, there's quite a bit different. They've eliminated the west banking totally, so you've got a different infield circuit that these Superbike rides will deal with, and it's a bit of a stop-and-go type track, not quite as flowy as the one before.
Once they get back up onto the banking, though, they come into this section of track. A lot of people call it the bus stop. It's the back straight chicane, and this has been the problem area so far this weekend.
It really has been, and for whatever reason, I think cold temperatures had a lot to do with it. A lot of riders going down this weekend in there, but so far, we've got a good run this morning through practice and qualifying. We hadn't had too many incidents, so I think we're over that. We'll wait and see. Let's have a look right here. We're going to see Larry Pegram having a problem as he came in here on this new Yamaha. You'll see the back end step and then the front end goes, and unfortunately, normally when the thing hits the grass, this is what happens. And Larry had to pull out the checkbook on this one, but they did a great job rebuilding the motorcycle. He came back to qualify 6th again. What a nice rebound. Look for great things from Larry today.
Absolutely, and here's a look at him in qualifying. That team went to work. They were able to get that thing rebuilt, and he responded and rewarded them with a really solid qualifying run, making the switch to Yamaha this year. He's loving the support he's getting from Yamaha and some of the other Yamaha teams as well. Martin Cardenas, he was running very quickly, had a little bit of a weird moment, but was able to get it restarted, get that bike back out, and put in a couple of late laps that were very fast.
Oh yeah, this cat right here, he's a real deal. Roger Hayden right here on the 54 National Guard sponsored bike. He's on this team. He's used to this team, this bike. So watch for great things from him. These Suzukis really run around across these high banks here at Daytona. Nice job by Roger to put that thing in a good qualifying position in 3rd.
And here's Josh Hayes' teammate, the young Josh Herrin, on board that Monster Graves Yamaha. And he was working it very hard late in qualifying, trying to close the gap. He'd gone around the 36 of Cardenas, who was then following him, and Herrin was pushing immensely. And as he started to run up onto the banking, watch this moment, Scott, that this young man had as he's gassing it.
Well, you're accelerating out, Greg. The track is really rough. It's hard for us to see it here on TV. I've ridden it. It's like a motocross track as they go across there. That Yamaha was bucking all over the place, so he held on to it. But this guy here, the number 1, like I said, there's a reason there's a number 1 on that plate. He is as steady. He knows this bike like the back of his hand. He doesn't have to think when he rides this thing. He just reacts.
Precision. When you watch him lap, it's precision is what makes him look and be so incredibly effective. Now, you'll note this. Josh Herrin picked up a passenger late in the going. Danny Eslick, coming out of the chicane, had a weird moment when he wheelied. The nose came down, and it just pitched him into the outside wall.
Well, you're trying hard, trying hard to put a good foot forward in qualifying, but he's getting a ride back from his old arch rival in the 600 class, Josh Herrin. That was kind of fun to see.
And there is a look at Larry Pegram. As we said, a great rebound by not just Pegram, but the team getting that bike put together. As you said, it costs him a little bit of money, but he wants to go after it. And, he's got some big shoes to fill here, people that race at Daytona. And one of the guys is our own Scott Russell, and you had a very special moment this morning at the Champions Breakfast.
Yeah, this morning I was asked to be the guest speaker at the Hall of Fame award deal right here, and it was a great morning for me, and got me a ring out of the deal. I've already been inducted in the Hall of Fame, but I'd like to thank Yamaha, Motul, all the people from the Hall of Fame, the AMA, for giving me the opportunity to come in there and have breakfast with everybody, and had a great time this morning.
Yeah, it was wonderful, and there is a look at the ring. Well earned, my friend. And the biggest question was, it was breakfast, so hoping for a great show today. Blueberry pancakes, did you do it?
For me? No, I had fruit crepes this morning, thanks. But we're going to be all right.
All right, well, as you can see, the bikes are out on their installation lap, but we're going to step away for just a moment. When we come back, we'll continue with coverage of the opener of Superbike from Daytona. Speed's coverage of AMA Pro Superbike from Daytona is being brought to you by Progressive Insurance, #1 in motorcycle insurance. And by Yamaha. Yamaha is the first name in motorsports. Welcome back, everybody, as the field's starting to take up their start positions. And we're so excited about this. The season about to get underway. The first of 2 rounds coming at you from Daytona International Speedway this weekend. And looking forward to some great racing. Looking forward to answering that question. What is the answer for Josh Hayes? And, of course, as we look at the grid, there's always something special that unfolds at the top. It's the grid walk. And we've got not one but 2 gentlemen down there. Let's start off with Greg White.
Thanks very much. With Josh Hayes, the #1 plate. This is the second year defending the #1 plate, sitting on pole position for this Daytona Superbike race. And Hayes, obviously, more pressure the second year with the #1 plate, but also some new competition in the field. Anybody you have your eye on that thinks you could really give you a run for the money in this race?
Yeah, there's a number of guys that could step up. Josh, my teammate, he could step up, and then there's a couple of new people in seats, and Roger.
Larry on another Yamaha like this, any of those guys could get in the mix and make it exciting. But right now, things are going good. We're staying on our program, and it seems to be working. So hopefully we'll have a good race and maybe even get to ride around by myself a little bit.
All right, good luck to Josh Hayes. Now let's go over to Jason Pridmore, who's on row number 2. Jason?
Thanks, Greg. Sitting on row number 2. It's nice and sunny today. Finally, we got some good track conditions here at Daytona. I'm sitting with probably the best looking bike on the grid right now. Larry Pegram on the foremost Yamaha. Well, I don't know about the guy, but tell us how Daytona's going so far for you.
This foremost Yamaha has really done a great job for me. I screwed up a little bit and tipped over on yesterday during qualifying, which is kind of why I think we're here on the second row. But the bike's capable of winning. I know that. We just got to get up front here on the start and run with these boys.
Good. I was talking to Larry there, and it sounds like he's healthy. He's ready to go. He's got a new bike, new ride. Same team. A lot of you probably catch his show on Speed also. We're going to roll on over here to 5th. Another new ride, Danny, on the Jordan Motorsports Suzuki. Tell us how so far Daytona's been for you.
Man, Daytona's going awesome. Riding for the Michael Jordan Motorsports National Guard crew is, it's an honor. And, we're here at Daytona, get another season kicked off, and had a bit of a crash this morning and tore the bike up. So, hats off to the crew. They've, literally just finished the thing. So, they busted their butts, and I'm looking forward to a good race and just to get going here at Daytona.
Both those guys had big incidents, but good to see them on the grid. Let's shoot it back up to G-Dub on the front row.
Thanks. With a familiar name, Martin Cardenas, a familiar number 36. New team, Yoshimura Suzuki. And Martin back in the Superbike class after winning the Daytona Sport Bike Championship. Martin, you're sitting on row number 1, in a good position, but have you really been able to come to grips with the Superbike yet again as you return to this class? Is everything, you ready to win races, or how are things going?
I think right now I'm still in the process of refining my style and the way should I ride Superbike, but every time it's a little bit better. We're still improving, and hopefully we can do a good race today.
All right, we're looking forward to Martin all season on this GSXR 1000. A lot of eyes are on Martin and what he can do.
Absolutely, and keep in mind, as a rookie 2 years ago, he got a win, so the potential is certainly there. And I think for Danny Eslick, he knows, doesn't he? This is a major opportunity for him.
Oh, yeah. Both of those guys you just mentioned know that this is probably the best opportunity they've had to be legit contenders in the Superbike class, and with great teams, the Jordan team for Danny, and the Yoshimura team. Obviously, I don't have to say much about them. They've said it all over years after year, been very competitive on this series for years, and so they're both in good spots.
The palms are breezy today, but that's okay. Temperature pushing 70 degrees. Yesterday was pretty chilly here on Thursday, but it's warming up nicely, just supposed to get even better as the weekend unfolds. Good conditions today, maybe a little bit breezy, but I think we're going to be in for some absolutely great racing, and that will be coming at you here on the other side of the break. Great to have you here at Daytona, and when we come back, race number 1, the opener for AMA Pro Superbike. Just a couple of miles down the road is Sebring, Florida. And tomorrow you can witness one of the greatest endurance events in the world, the legendary 12 Hours of Sebring. It's a race pushing man and machine beyond the limit. And it's not just a legendary race, it's the opening round of the 2013 American Le Mans Series. It's the 12 Hours of Sebring. Exclusive coverage begins tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, right here and only on Speed. But right now, we have got Superbikes that we're going to be dealing with. They've just completed their warm-up lap. That front row looking very, very good. And as always, it seems, headed by Josh Hayes, another really strong run. However, his teammate Josh Herrin got well within a second of his time. And so we're thinking there is some possibilities here. And of course, qualifying is one thing. The draft at this track produces very, very unpredictable things. The bikes are up in the cam. Superbikes are ready to roll. We're green. Hayes, always a good starter, but look at that start from the outside. Cardenas trying to sweep the outside. Hayes trying to fight him off. Cardenas drifts a little wide. Herrin trying to slot through and makes that stick. Now, can Cardenas come across? No, he actually lost a spot to Roger Hayden.
Well, he got in there on the outside of Herrin, and Herrin pushed him out wide, and that opened the door for Roger to get up inside of him right now. Now everybody's thinking, I got to keep Josh Hayes in sight. especially his teammate right now. He's had this opportunity a couple of times last year, overcooked it in here and there, and he made some mistakes, and Josh got away. But I thought then he was capable of running with him, but we'll see. This year he's a different rider.
This is that new section, or not new section, but the different layout of the track that we're talking about. Oh, no! Eslick is down. Not exactly sure where that happened. He's just sitting in the middle of the grass. That's Roger Hayden on the National Guard Superbike for Jordan Motorsports. Oh, no, he was one of the guys who was so competitive in qualifying, qualified third, and it's gone away early. Boy, he's still trying to figure out something is wrong on the right side. Let's see what happened here. Oh.
Yeah, down into turn 4, that's called now, as they brake hard on that infield straightaway, flicks it right. Just the first lap, and Raj overcooks it, and from what we see, it looks like he probably just lost the front end right there. So that kind of opens the door now for Martin to see if he can get up there and run with those Yamahas now, who was running in 4th. Roger was in 3rd when he went down.
Problem is that now there's a pretty good gap that is opened up between those two monster Yamahas, and they are now down, completing lap 1. Hayes over teammate, the young man Herrin, who's shown some pretty good pace. He has he just not quite Josh Hayes' pace, but Herrin has proven to be pretty quick. Cardenas sits 3rd, and Pegram taking advantage up into 4th.
That's right. He jumped up in there. Nice job. And here we go, breaking into that East Horseshoe right now. You could see that Herrin makes a little bit of time on the brakes. It's easy to do when you're the rider behind. You kind of just leave the brake a little longer. But Cardenas has made some good time, and Pegram is really looking strong on that Yamaha in 4th. You can see the back wheel off the ground as Cardenas overcooks that a little bit, and you can easily overdo that corner. These 1,000 Superbikes, they get to some high speeds really quick, and then you got to break it back down.
Well, and he is wicked deep breaker, isn't he?
He is, you know, and he's trying to make up some time that he lost off the start. You don't want to lose touch with these guys, so he's going to try everything he can. And sometimes it's easy to make that time on the brakes.
Stepping up like he is, and admitting that he's had a year of Superbike experience, but back winning the championship in Sportbike last year, stepping up, what are the adjustments now he's got to make, especially to a bike capable as the Yoshimura Suzuki?
Well, I was talking to Peter Doyle down there as his crew chief, and he said, heck, we've done a bunch of testing, but he hadn't been out of 3rd gear, so they've been testing at slow racetrack. Show up at a racetrack like this, which is the fastest racetrack we go to. So he's got to get his head around that speed, and when you enter a corner, you're carrying 20 mile an hour more than you were on 600, so that's the kind of thing. And then, you know, you've got all the rider aids with the traction control and all that to help you off the corner, but so it's a real learning curve for him right now in that Yosh team, but he's got a great supporting cast, and if anybody can catapult him to a win, they will.
And Josh Herrin doing everything he possibly can to stay with Josh Hayes here, not let him get that break and clear out right now. For Herrin, though, he has himself a 1.6 second lead over Cardenas, then Pegram and Eslick completing the top 5. But Josh Herrin, you know, we talk about it, for a young guy like this, he's going to school. This is university right here.
It is. And I tell you, I think, you know, Hayes is so smart. He knows that he came by, he gets the board right there as he goes through the infield straight. He can see that he doesn't have much of a lead. So he's just going to sit around. He's going to ride around at a nice, comfortable pace. But watch, as the later stages of the race, if he's still around, he'll pull the trigger on that number 1 and see if the number 2 can go with him. But that's typically what might happen. Let's see, number 2 may have something different to say about that now.
I'm going to set this up because the next time they go through the chicane, the bus stop, Josh keeps that bike, that number 1, so much tighter in the double right section than anybody else, including his young teammate. What's the cause? What's the reasoning there? And it certainly seems effective.
Well, he's really precise in his riding, and he knows if I drift out too wide right here like his teammate, it's kind of dirty out there. A lot of people don't go out there, and you see Josh got out there a little bit of wide, and then you got to work too hard to get the thing back to get the drive out, and you can see the difference right there.
And it's the longer way around. If you keep it tight and carry the mid-corner speed and roll through it, that's the kind of gap he can create.
So what his thinking is I'm thinking, is he goes in, he gets it in good, but the emphasis is on the drive out. It's not on the entrance of the corner. This is the longest part of the racetrack. You want to be good on the drive out, not the drive into that corner. So he's thinking that the whole time. Don't overdo it going in.
Well, and particularly if you've got somebody close on that last lap, the better drive you get out of that, the better chance you have of hanging on, yes?
And to me, that's the most important corner on this racetrack. It's the run that leads you to the start-finish. So he knows that.
And that was a lesson he learned last year, finishing second by 2 1/1000ths for the same deal. Good look there at the 23 of Eslick as he comes through. There's the 6 of Chris Clark. And then the 99 of Josh May on that Team Hero, Jeff May, excuse me, on the Team Hero EBR. And boy, they continue to really work hard to make that program come alive.
That's right. You see, here we go. These two Monster Energy Yamahas are tied together, and Yamaha guys got to be smiling down there on pit road. I mean, all the money they've spent, all the effort they've put into this, I mean, it really pays off. They've got a great motorcycle. They've got a great program Chuck Graves has put together in conjunction with Yamaha, and they've just dominated here for a while with Josh. And now to have two Joshes that are running that strong, this is what they wanted.
I think this is the 15th year that Yamaha and Graves have been in partnership of some sort. And talk about having a bike that is refined.
It's cool to see a guy, an old racer, Chuck Graves, go into something like this. And man, he's a smart businessman, and he's just really made a great business with that Graves Motorsports and the connection with Yamaha. I mean, hey, I don't know who's going to beat him, especially today.
Josh Herrin's last lap actually a 10th quicker than Hayes. And you can see tucked in, then came out, then tucked back in again. And I think he's just content to follow right now and see what he can learn at this point. They're the only guys into the 137s. Cardenas next quickest at a 36.0, and then Pegram at a 36.8. So they are setting the pace clearly right now, but Josh Herrin keeping the record-setting Josh Hayes in check. There's a look at a very interested Yamaha camp. We'll be right back.
Suzuki TSXR 1000 of Danny Eslick with Jordan Suzuki.
Big crowd on hand watching here, and tomorrow there's going to be a lot of people watching the superstars of Supercross battle it out at Indy. A win at Indy takes the victor one step closer to that title. Get down and dirty with Monster Energy Supercross from Indianapolis tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You know where, live on Speed. And we have a new leader. The number 2 of Josh Herrin has taken the point, heading down into that tricky chicane. Josh Hayes slots right in behind. Ooh, wiggle there from Herrin as he gets on the throttle coming out. Interesting.
Well, I think Josh Hayes got a problem. He's dipping down now. He's definitely got issues. That number 1 Yamaha is pretty much out of the deal right now. Number 2 is gone. And here comes Martin Cardenas to take over that second spot. So it's rare that you see a Yamaha have a problem. But today, the number 1 definitely looking down. There's an issue with that bike.
Yep, had his foot off the peg. That's generally an indicator that he's offline and going to be making a run down to the pits. Let's see if that's what he does.
He decided not to. He stayed on the racetrack.
He stayed out.
Maybe it's some type of intermittent problem, and he feels like maybe this thing will start running again in a minute. So he's going to stay with that program and see if he could. He knows every point is going to be critical in this championship. So he's going to try to stay out there and get anything he can.
So Josh Herrin picks up the lead. Cardenas into second, Pegram third. And that last lap, Herrin running a 38.9 and Cardenas a 38.3.
Yeah, well, he's definitely got issues now. The number 2, Josh Herrin, out there by himself. Just needs to keep it clean. He's got, he's almost has, he comes by next lap, he'll be halfway done with this race. He's got pressure from behind now. This will be interesting to see, can he still run that pace without the toe of Josh Hayes? And now he's got some heat coming from behind, and Martin Cardenas, and we know that Bulldog, he will hunt him down if he can.
And the question here, obviously it looks like some sort of mechanical issue for Josh Hayes. As a teammate on an identical bike, does that start to play mind games? You're going, oh, I wonder what that was.
He's over it right now. He's not thinking about anything but winning this race right now. As soon as he passed Josh, that's the last thing he wanted to think about was him. And now he knows when he'll get his pit board. As he came by, I'm sure he knows that lead had grown, so he probably realized that the 1 definitely had a problem. And so now he's just got to concentrate on doing everything right that he can do and running perfect laps.
Yeah, and this is a rare opportunity to jump on, obviously. Let's take a look at what's unfolding here. There's Danny Eslick. Oh, Eslick and Hayes apparently reports they may have had a little bit of an off. Yep, there goes Eslick, and Hayes followed him, and that was just moments ago. That was not related to that incident.
You can see Danny was just trying to get by an Allen number 1 bike as they went through 4 and 5 down there, and just tried to stuck it up in there and got pinched down low and then ran out of racetrack on the exit.
And Hayes is coming into the pits. Huge developments here in the opening round of the National Guard Superbike Championship as Josh Hayes, 3-time defending champion, opening round off the pace heading into pit lane. Meanwhile, watching that battle for the lead up front between Herrin and Cardenas. Big wiggle for Cardenas. Meanwhile, let's get down to Greg White.
Josh Hayes in the pits talking to crew chief Jim Roach, pointing to the left side of the motorcycle. See if we can run over here and take a look. Something with the handlebar, not quite sure. There's controls there that control traction control and other functions on the motorcycle that are on the left-hand side that he can control, and it looks like they're turning the motorcycle off, and for right now, Hayes' race might be done.
Wow, huge development to be sure, and in this battle up front right now, the last lap, again, Cardenas running 0.4 of a second quicker than Josh Herrin, and 0.2 of a second faster was Herrin than Pegram. So that group up front, this is very interesting. And Cardenas, as you put it, he senses opportunity as well.
Yeah, he can smell blood in the water, and he's going to do all he can to reel him in right now. And Josh has got to regroup. You know, you kind of got a little excited there for a couple laps. His lap time dropped off a little bit. Now he's going to have to try to regroup and try to hold that lead as they come by this last time by. Again, we got 0.3 of a second different. That means Martin Cardenas has took another 0.3 out of Josh Herrin's lead. And now, as they break into the East Horseshoe, you can see the difference down in there. And Larry Pegram, he's breaking into that horseshoe as well and running a clean third right now.
What a story.
He's got to be happy.
I was going to say, what a story this will be after that crash. And this private independent team putting in the effort to get that bike built back up again and running in third, potentially a podium in his first race with the foremost Yamaha. What a great story. And just great to see it. And he's one of the guys in the paddock. He's fun, just fun. You can see with the interview with Greg White, he just enjoys life.
He's been around a long time. And it's just great to see them put these efforts together every year. He keeps staying in the sport, bringing in outside sponsors, just working deals. I mean, he's a deal maker, man, and he gets it done. And it's great to see him out here on a Yamaha. Something gets off that BMW. He loves this thing. And here you can see Eslick running a lonely fourth. He's got fourth sewed up right now, and Larry's got no pressure from behind by him. So if everybody holds steady, the only thing I think that could change maybe the lead, because Cardenas is chipping away at that lead up front. Eslick's looking good on the 23 with that little off-track excursion. Didn't really make any difference in his race. He already had a problem, so he was going to be fourth or not. So he's good.
Here's the best battle on the track for 6. It's Pietri holding it, May, then Anthony, and then Fillmore on the KTM. And that is 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And these guys are having a great dust-up. Yeah, Fillmore dropping just a little bit there. Is that, he was close enough, it looked like, to be in the tow. Is the KTM still working the engine development a little bit?
Oh, yeah, they're down on speed a little bit, and so he's got work to do now. Look at this. This could be really epic for Martin Cardenas.
Wow, this is incredibly close, and as his young teammate under pressure from the Yosh Suzuki, Josh Hayes is with Greg White.
Not a good look on Josh Hayes' face right now. Everything looked like it was going well. Then what happened?
I'm just disappointed. You know, you get that much horsepower trying to go through a clutch in as tall a gearing as we had to run at Daytona. You always take the chance, you know. And I launched it pretty hard. You know, I wanted to get a good start and get up front, and I did that well. And it didn't immediately go. It took a little bit of time as some heat built up in the engine. It started getting a little slower and a little slower, and eventually it got so bad that I couldn't even ride the bike. It wouldn't go. I couldn't even get out of the way. You know, it was pretty bad. So I didn't even think I could finish the race. I figured at some point it's going to just stop on the side of the pavement, and I was really in the way, so I decided to come in. I'm disappointed. The boys did a great job, and we'll come back tomorrow and see what we can do then.
All right, good luck to Josh Hayes. Don't forget, tomorrow he's got to start his championship over because he has 0 points.
That's a very good point, and the interesting thing here for Josh Hayes, he had that win last year, and it was a dominant one, but otherwise, this place hasn't been terribly kind to him. And we're watching right there. Cardenas taking a look at Herrin. It wasn't on, and they continue to run. 1-2 here on the high banks of Daytona with Larry Pegram in the Foremost Insurance Yamaha. Scrapping for third. We'll be back. Fox Saturday Baseball returns with 3 great matchups as the Yankees battle the defending champion Tigers, or Angels outfielder Josh Hamilton returns to Texas to take on the Rangers, or the Cardinals take on the World Series champion Giants in a rematch of the NLCS. The debut of Fox Saturday Baseball is April 6th. What a game we've got afoot right here. Herrin leading away, but look at Cardenas. And one thing you know about Martin Cardenas, he seems to get stronger the longer the race goes. This guy just loves to fight at the end.
Yeah, he's a real true racer, and right now he knows that this is his race to lose. He's caught up. You see Herrin right here. He's going to get on the throttle a little bit, get the thing out. He bucked him out of the saddle. Not a big deal, but Martin's noting that stuff down, you know, and you can see him struggling here and there. And you saw Martin as they come down the front straightaway last time. He just kind of pulls out just like he is now. No real attempt to pass. He's just going to stalk him right now, and he's just going to make his move at the end, some point. And that's kind of how he's going to play it. When you come from that far back and you catch a guy, does a lot for your confidence. You know you got a good bike, and you see him struggling a little bit, trying to put the power to the ground. So he's just kind of going to watch and sit and wait.
And you know, the pace that these guys get around this track, we're already past 2/3 distance.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And what a battle it turned out to be. There's the coulda, woulda, shoulda of Josh Hayes being in the mix. But at this stage, we have got a great battle for the lead here. And it certainly looks like Cardenas is just waiting.
He is. And you can see Herrin, again, his bike's a bit unstable in some spots on the under acceleration. He's had a couple of moments where it picked him out of the saddle, and you can see, we saw it leading into the show as he went out on the back straightaway, the thing gets to bucking and winds itself up. So, and that's got a lot to do with how smooth and you apply the throttle, I think, too, and how aggressive you jump from side to side on the motorcycle. And you watch Martin, he's just sitting there. He's just real relaxed right now, just doing everything right. And Josh is the guy who's under pressure.
So when you talk about the electronic age traction control on a superbike, you know, in a lot of forms of racing, you just mash the throttle and let it work. There is some finesse still to the throttle application.
Well, actually, they can go ahead and get back to the full stick pretty heavily. What's the trick is to get the bike off the lean angle, because the traction control basically is just holding the bike back. It won't let the thing run. Now Martin still, again, don't think he's going to pass him right here. So they're able to go to the throttle pretty quickly, and then the TC really picks up. Now Martin, is he going to make a run? Not this time. So, yeah, they can go back to throttle hard, but like I said, they want to get the thing upright and get out of the TC is the best way to really do that.
That's true. The traction control holds it retards the engine a little bit, and that saps power, so that makes complete sense, obviously. And we're watching this great battle here unfold.
Scott, seems like when you watch these two ride, obviously Martin's been on a superbike before, but coming off a 600, a little different riding style. But Josh still seems to hold the bike on the edge of the tire for longer periods. You look at Martin, he seems like he can run it tighter in with less lean angle mid-corner, and he gets it up off the edge of the tire a little sooner.
I think so. I think what happens is Josh sometimes tends to charge the corner, attack the entrance of the corner sometimes, and then, you know, instead of being a little slow things down a little bit right in the middle and pick it up, yeah, you know, that makes a big difference. JP, you know that, and the TC just stays engaged longer. So Martin's just doing everything right. Right here, you can see him try to. You want to get separation from the bike. You want to push the bike upright, get your body off the edge of the thing, so the bike will stand up and shoot out forward. And yeah, Josh seems to be holding a little bit longer lean angle.
Once again, Cardenas gets a pretty good drive, but then just sort of pulls out a line and lets it settle. He wants to run second right now as we are closing in on the final few laps of the opening round of the Superbike Championship. Herrin over Cardenas, Pegram still third. You know, folks, you can check out and subscribe to our Moto Racing mobile alerts. Get the latest Supercross race results and breaking news sent right to your phone. Text MOTO to Speed 3 for Speed Motorcycle Racing. Text alerts. Do it right now. We got Indy coming up. You might as well be on top of things here.
Like, man, you watch that number 2 bike. It's bucking all over the place. He's having a hard time You know, it's obviously it's a setup issue. That bike is normally smoother than that. So, you know, Josh is always still learning to ride a Superbike. So he's got, you know, he still, I think, doesn't have that perfect setup yet. What do you think, JP?
It's actually Greg. You know, Greg White in the pits. You know, one of the things I was talking to Josh Herrin about right before the race was I asked him, how has the motorcycle been since you rolled it off the truck? And he said we really had to work hard for this one because of the lack of quality time. And I think, really, Scott, what you're touching on is what you're seeing right now. They just didn't hit it exactly the way they want to.
Yeah, and then in a difficult track condition, you know, it was cold leading up to this race. So, yeah, it's hard to get quality laps, and it shows right now. It looks like the Yosh bike set up a little bit better. Like JP said, Martin's just kind of sitting. He's getting the thing turned early, and you can see Josh carry a bunch of speed in and just can't get the thing off the edge. So, and then when he does, he goes to the throttle really heavy, and it makes the thing buck him around a little bit.
Again, Cardenas pulls way down low and then just pops right back up behind. And, you know, part of it is when you come out of that bus stop chicane, you've got to be the right distance back. If you're too close and go by, they can redraft. So that's a game in and of itself. And this battle for fifth, we've been watching it here, and they are swapping it up. That is Clark had dropped behind, I think, Pietri, and now he has gone right back around. And here comes May, going to try and sweep the outside as well for sixth. Not quite on there. And down into turn one. Well, couple of good battles going.
Yep, and they're only running a second off the leaders, you know, so all three of these guys are really having a great run right here, and a little epic battle of their own. Chris Clark, I think he's done a great job and as progressing as a rider. Robertino Pietri on a new bike this year. Obviously, he finished the season off really strong. Jeff May had some great rides on that EBR last year, so there's a lot to be decided in that battle for fifth yet.
And keep in mind, when these two guys come around the stripe here on the tri-oval, we will have one to go. So all this prep, all this setup, and all of this strategy that is being played out right now, certainly by Cardenas, trying to figure out where do I need to be. It's going to come to the fore as we will be starting our last lap. Pegram third, Eslick fourth, and they've got pretty good gaps between them and the pursuers, but that Clark, Pietri, and May battle is a stout one.
I think this is a real dress rehearsal right here. You see him laid off farther than he had in the chicane. Now he's going to try to time this perfect, you know. Like you said, you can easily pull out of the draft early here, and they can get back by you. He's not even trying to draft him. So he obviously is confident that he can make this thing work and win this race. So we'll keep an eye on that. Josh Herrin's going to have to really put a super good lap in right here, and I don't think he can check the 36.
And I would guess that that Martin is just where he's feeling that draft, where he first starts to feel it. So, okay, so to get by here, here's where pretty good. Look at this battle for the ninth spot. These guys going at it, and that's Aaron Yates. How great to be able to call his name and number, that famous number 20. Fillmore and Knapp, the two KTMs, are racing it with him. As a matter of fact, right now Yates in a KTM sandwich, and both those guys, the two KTM lads, go streaming on by. But Aaron Yates back in Superbike, that's great to see.
And just so you know, that's Fillmore with the bright yellow helmet on. So he's leading them through the infield this last time. And you can see the leader on the right. They're heading out. They're making their way over toward the back straightaway. Got this long right. And look at, you can see Herrin riding a little bit wide. Maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted to try to see if Martin would go by and then allow him to make that drafting move toward the start-finish line. Martin's too smart for that.
All right, this is it. They are going to be coming through the chicane, and then it is the blast to the tri-oval and the checkers. Here we go, up onto the banking one last time. Ooh, got the wheel up a little bit, and that Cardenas dropped back a little further maybe than he wanted there.
He may have. He may have made a mistake right there, lifting that front end in the air right now, but that Suzuki's really gaining speed. That Yamaha's super fast out front right now, and I think he's left it a little too late.
This is it. Let's see now. Down into the heavy banking.
Yep.
Herrin, Cardenas coming up, and it is going to be Herrin. Unbelievable run. Meanwhile, this battle for fifth continues, and it looks like Chris Clark on the other Yoshimura Suzuki has been able to gap the other two just a little bit. Pietri and May sitting sixth and seventh. Here we go. Down through it, and he will hang on. So not too bad. The two Yoshimura Suzukis in the top five. Here's that battle for eighth, and they are streaming up. Knapp was there, but Knapp comes by Fillmore, and Aaron Yates working the outside of both of them. Can he get it done? No. What a great run, though, and a great last lap for Taylor Knapp. His first start, and Larry Pegram. As you look at Josh Herrin, boy, what a special moment. The big win.
That was a great ride by him, and he did everything he could do with what he had, and I thought he was a sitting duck.
Yeah.
I think
he thought he was a sitting duck.
Yeah, and Martin just did that little bit of a wheelie, and those bikes have wheelie control, so when the bike lifts up, it kills the power again. Same thing as TC, and I think that's what caught him out.
So you're saying even a 1,000cc Superbike momentum. It's key, yep, absolutely. And Josh Herrin got a great exit out of the chicane, was able to hang on. Cardenas, and what a story. Larry Pegram on the podium. We'll hear from them when we come back.
I'm sure Josh Hayes will be back on a motorcycle with an even stronger. For the first few laps, but has to bring it on a pit road. But there is Josh Herrin, outstanding ride for the win. Full marks to Martin Cardenas, who finishes second, and then Larry Pegram in third. Those are the three riders going to Gatorade victory lane here shortly. Let's check in with Richard Chambers. Rich?
Wow. I love it. Kissing the tank. That was nice. Reese Wacker coming by saying hi. Yeah, I'm dying to hear from Cardenas.
I know.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes.
What happened to him?
Oh, that's right.
What happened to Martin on that last
You just motored away, dude. You did it. You made him work hard.
Good job, baby.
Okay.
He kind of blew it coming out of the chicane.
Speed's coverage of AMA Pro Superbike from Daytona has been brought to you by Progressive Insurance, #1 in motorcycle insurance, and by Yamaha. Yamaha is the first name in motorsports. Welcome back, everybody, and today the first name in motorsports on a Yamaha is a guy named Josh Herrin, and the family, well, they're pretty pleased by how everything turned out. That's Josh's mom on the cell phone, probably calling anybody in the family. In tears. What a very, very special moment. This is just great to see. And Josh enjoying it. And Josh soaking it up, and Greg White is there.
Josh Herrin so happy with his Yamaha R1, he doesn't even want to get off the motorcycle. Congratulations. That was some win. Tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You know, it's a bummer we couldn't do it when Josh was out there, but you know, that's just how it goes. I was trying to stick on him as much as I could. About halfway through, my arm just started pumping up. I can't even talk. I was screaming so much in my helmet. The Monster Energy Graves Yamaha R1 was working phenomenal. I can't thank everybody that helps me out enough, and I don't even know what to say. You know, this one goes out to Kenny Anderson for sure. And, no, it's just surreal. I don't even know what to say, and I just can't thank everybody enough.
Tell me about coming out of the chicane for the last time. Did you know Martin was right there on you, and what were you thinking?
Yeah, I knew he was there. I was trying. I was probably like 6 seconds off our regular lap times. I was looking behind. I saw it was just him, and I was like, all I know is don't lead on the last lap. But I didn't know who was behind me, so it was kind of hard. And I just tried to stay low, and hopefully he didn't get me, and luckily my R1 was, you know, banging out 200 plus, and he couldn't catch me. So, you know, we lucked out there, and just can't wait till tomorrow. Go back to the hotel and rest up, and come back hard for tomorrow.
All right, congratulations.
Yeah, indeed. And Greg White, you mentioned it. He's loving that bike. He was kissing it and caressing it all the way around the bank and on that cool-down lap. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. Herrin getting the win. Cardenas, an impressive second, but for one error we'll talk about, Larry Pegram. That's just an amazing story after what happened. This privateer team rebuilding that bike and putting him back on the box. And Danny Eslick and Chris Clark completing your top 5. Then Pietri, May doing a nice job in the EBR. David Anthony, Taylor Knapp, and Chris Fillmore for the KTMs. And then Aaron Yates back in Superbike, finishing 11th. Martinez, Wacker, Ulrich, Trent Gibson, Ramirez, Josh Hayes. There's the big story there. And of course, Roger Hayden with that early crash, and Weston Dominguez just having some issues right now. All right, let's get back down to G-Dub with Martin. Dying to hear this guy.
Martin Cardenas, congratulations. Really, we have to talk about that wheelie coming out of the chicane, because it looked like you were sitting on Josh Herrin and you may have had a plan, but what happened there coming out of the chicane?
Yeah, I have a plan. I stay behind him all race, and I was trying to. The plan was to make the pass on the draft in the last lap, but I did a little bit wrong the chicane, got a wheelie and then a slide, and that was enough for him to maintain the position. This time it didn't work out for me, but I'll try tomorrow.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, and next to him is Larry Pegram on the Foremost Insurance Yamaha R1. What a result for you, Larry. You know, considering all the things this team has been through, especially this weekend with the big get-off we saw at the beginning of the show, to come back and get a podium, how are you feeling right now?
I feel really good. This Foremost crew, they worked their butts off last night. I had to apologize for throwing the thing on the ground yesterday, but I was one of many, I guess, that did that. But to come back and get third today makes up for it. You know, I felt like I probably could have tried to run with Herrin and Cardenas, but I was real timid today and wanted to just kind of walk before I run. And tomorrow will be a little bit better, I think.
All right, enjoy the podium celebration. Now, Jason Pridmore is with Danny Eslick.
Well, Danny, after what you did to your crew this morning, fourth place has to feel pretty good, huh?
Definitely. You know, I'd like to have been up there with little Josh, as they say, and you know, get my guys on the podium. I destroyed a bike this morning, and these guys busted their butts. They hadn't even eaten lunch yet, so you know, to get out there and get a solid top 5, you know, I can't complain. I want to throw a shout out to a couple buddies that have birthdays, Coy and Evan. Happy birthday, fellas, and you know, just thank the Michael Jordan Motorsports crew, National Guard, for giving me this opportunity. It's really awesome, and look forward to a good season.
What can we expect tomorrow from you? You going to make any changes? What did you learn?
Definitely learned a bit about the race. I mean, I got a little bit of a slow start, so hopefully I can get up there with the get-go and kind of tag along and see what those guys are doing, because I haven't rode with anybody all weekend. I've pretty much been by myself. I mean, you know, that was the most I've got to ride with everybody, you know, up in the front. So hopefully we can just get a good start and get up there to the front and tag along and maybe do a little drafting towards the end of the race and, you know, stick our heads up there towards the front somewhere.
He always looks so unhappy, guys, doesn't he?
Yeah, cheer up, really, Danny. I'll tell you what, they've made a couple of good points. That is Briley Pegram. She is a cutie, to be sure, and enjoying this moment. And we heard both Larry and Danny talk about the crews. This is a team sport, and those crews are probably the most underappreciated people in the paddock.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've been on that side where you flick a bike down the road, and these guys have had to work all night, and they do whatever it takes to get their rider back on track. And you see, you know, fourth place, good points right there, and now Danny can build from that.
Now here's what you can be looking for in terms of bikes on Speed. Saturday, AMA Pro Super Sport race number 2. That's coming up at 9:55 a.m. Now that's on Speed 2, so keep that in mind. And then you've got Superbike action, and then you've got Arena Cross. There's the Sport Bike race, and of course here it's the legendary 72nd running of the Daytona 200 at 1:30. There's so much coming up. Enjoy it. We're thrilled because we get to come back and call another Superbike race tomorrow. On behalf of Scott Russell, Greg White, and Jason Pridmore, I'm Greg Kramer. Thanks so much for joining us. And Josh Herrin, well done.